Are you looking to use the SUMIF or SUMIFS formulas in Smartsheet? Well, if that's the case, then you've come to the right place, because today I'm going to be walking you through how to set these up and what they can enable you to do with your data. So as you'll see here, I've just pulled together some very basic dummy data. We've got different fruits, we've got a description of whether they're ripe or unripe. We've bought a different quantity according to this data set, and we've paid different prices for the different fruits. So we've got a different cost for each of these. And all I've done here is I've just set up some formatting. So I've added the currency format on these two columns, for instance, and I've also created a formula. So what I've done here is I've basically said, I've timed these two together, as you'll see here. So, if we bought one at 25 cents, how much is it going to cost us in total? Well, that's 25 cents. In the second example, we've got bananas. We bought two of them at 50 cents each, so that's $1. So you get the idea of what I've done here before we get started. So let's say we want to run through, let's create a sum formula. So let's say we want to find out how much it cost us for all of the fruit that we've paid for. So what we would then do here, and all we'd need to do for a sum formula, so bear this in mind if you're working on your own data set, all you need to do is go equals sum, open bracket, and unfortunately in Smartsheet we can't just click the column. You might be used to doing that in Excel, but what I would suggest you do is left click and select a couple of cells from the column, and you'll see the numbers here. So if I was to close this off now, I would just be counting rows 3 and 4 in the total cost column. But what we want to do is take these numbers out, and what that will do, so this is a good trick, is that will basically select the whole column, as you'll see with this blue here. So equals sum, and anything in that column we want to sum, equals. So let's put the currency format on. So basically what this is saying is all of these fruits with all of these quantities and all of these prices is going to cost us $30 in total. So a sum of all of our purchases. So we could stick this, there if we wanted, because that would make sense, wouldn't it, if we had like a sum there. I'm actually going to put that in blue, just to bring it out. Bold, and we'll put it in white just to make it pop. So next we're going to do sum if. So let's say, and I've put in this example here, the total cost of apples. Let's say we only want to count the price or the cost of how many apples we bought. So in this instance, we would go equals sum if, open brackets. So the range would be the fruit in this example. So, so I'm going to select all of that column. Again, use our little trick, take out the numbers. Now we need to specify the criterion. So that's going to be, we only want to calculate apples. So put those in quotation marks. If that was banana, we'd put that there just as an example, or kiwi. So what the criterion is, comma, and then the range. So this is going to be the total cost column. So we need to select everything in here. Again, our trick. So when I hit enter, you will see that according to our data set, we have spent a total of 25 cents on apples. And that makes sense in the example and the arguments that we've given. We've only bought one, and let's say we had an apple here, because that data doesn't look particularly great, and let's say these apples cost us 35. You'll see that this is updated here, and I would add one more in here just to show you how this is working. This one's going to be unripe, and we're going to have bought 20, and these are going to cost us, we've bought 20, we've got a bulk discount, it's going to cost us 10. So you'll see that that's been updated there. So what this is essentially saying with a sum if is, can you calculate all of these numbers if a particular criterion is met? And in this case, it's apple. So the last thing is sum ifs, and that's if you want to add two arguments. So in this example, we want to calculate the total cost of ripe apples only. So we've got, I've added a couple here, and that's going to help us with this formula. So to set this up, equals sum ifs. So make sure you put the S in, obviously that's the key differentiator here. open brackets. So work slightly differently with SUMIFS. So you want to select the total cost column first. So select all of your data set, or alternatively, so I've left clicked and dragged down and I've got the numbers in here. Or alternatively, if you want to select the whole column, take the numbers out, and that's the trick I've been talking about so far, comma, the criterion range. Now this is going to be the fruit. So this is the first argument we're setting up. So I'm going to do the same thing. We want this to be the whole column, take the numbers out. And you'll see the colours, it will light up when you've got it right. We've got this in pink now, we've got that in blue. So next we have, the first criterion. So what was it looking for in the fruit column? So again, we want apple. Now, the second thing we want to do is calculate only ripe apples. So the first thing we need to do is select this column. Again, take the numbers out. Comma, and we only want to calculate ripe. So as you can expect, I'm going to do this. Close bracket, and here you will see that we paid a total of $3.75 for ripe apples, which would mean that we've paid $2 for unripe apples, which isn't acceptable. We'll have to go back to the supermarket or grocery store, and we'll have to complain because that's not good enough, is it? But that's how to set up SUM, SUMIF and SUMIFS formulas in Smartsheet. Obviously have different use cases, SUM being if you just want to calculate, say, one column, SUMIF if you want to calculate a column based on one criteria. In this example, it was apple. And SUMIFS if you want to calculate, sum a column based on two different arguments. In this case, one being apples and the second being ripe. So I hope this video is useful. Try and adopt it and use it with your own data set and see how it works. But just remember some of the caveats that I've explained here. Make sure you've got your S in here, and make sure all of your columns are selected. And if you see the colours, you're generally good to go. But I hope this video is useful. If you have any comments about these formulas, or how to set them up, or you're having any issues with your own data sets, drop them down in the comments below. Do consider hitting the like button if this was useful. It tells me I should continue making videos like this, and also subscribe as well. And if you head over to my channel, I've got a lot more Smartsheet training videos that might be useful for you if you are using this tool. So with that said, I hope you have an excellent day.